Namaskar, Jai Shri Krishna. Illuminating text 50, text 51, text 52 and text 53 of chapter 13, Dhritarashtra quits home of first canto creation of Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 50. Nishpaditam devakrityam vashesham pratikshate tavada yuyam vekshadvam bhaved yavadi heshvaraha. The Lord has already performed his duties to help the demigods and he is awaiting the rest. You Pandavas may wait as long as the Lord is here on earth. The Lord descends from his abode Krishna-lok, the topmost planet in the spiritual sky, in order to help the demigod administrators of this material world when they are greatly vexed by the asuras, who are envious not only of the Lord but also of his devotees. As referred to above, the conditioned living beings contact material association by their own choice, dictated by a strong desire to lord it over the resources of the material world and become imitation lords of all they survey. Everyone is trying to become an imitation god. There is keen competition amongst such imitation gods, and such competitors are generally known as asuras. When there are too many asuras in the world, then it becomes a hell for those who are devotees of the Lord. Due to the growth of the asuras, the mass of people who are generally devoted to the Lord by nature and the pure devotees of the Lord, including the demigods in higher planets, pray to the Lord for relief, and the Lord either descends personally from his abode or deputes some of his devotees to remodel the fallen condition of human society or even animal society. Such disruptions take place not only in human society but also among animals, birds or other living beings, including the demigods in the higher planets. Lord Shri Krishna descended personally to vanquish asuras like Kansa, Jarasandha and Shishupal, and during the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthir, almost all these asuras were killed by the Lord. Now he was awaiting the annihilation of his own dynasty called the Yadu Vansha, who appeared by his will in this world. He wanted to take them away before his own departure to his eternal abode. Narad, like Vidur, did not disclose the imminent annihilation of the Yadu dynasty but indirectly gave a hint to the king and his brothers to wait till the incident happened and the Lord departed. Text 51. Dhritarashtraha saha Dhratra Gandharya cha Swabharyaya Dakshinen Himvat Rushi Rama Shramama Gataha. O king, your uncle Dhritarashtra, his brother Vidur and his wife Gandhari have gone to the southern side of the Himalaya mountains where there are shelters of the great sages. To pacify the mourning Maharaj Yudhishthir, Narad first of all spoke from the philosophical point of view, and then he began to describe the future movements of his uncle, which he could see by his foreseeing powers, and thus began to describe as follows. Text 52. Sro to bhiha saptabhiraya vai swardhuni saptadha vyadhat saptanam pritayenana sapta srotah prachakshate. The place is called Sapta Srota, divided by 7, because there the water of the sacred Ganges was divided into 7 branches. This was done for the satisfaction of the 7 great rishis. Text 53. Snatvanu savanam tasmin hutva chagni nyatha vidhi abhaksha upashantatma sa aste vigataishanaha. On the banks at Sapta Srot, Dhritarashtra is now engaged in beginning Ashtanga Yoga by bathing 3 times daily in the morning, noon and evening, by performing the Agnihotra sacrifice with fire and by drinking only water. This helps one control the mind and the senses and frees one completely from thoughts of familial affection. The yoga system is a mechanical way to control the senses and the mind and divert them from matter to spirit. There are preliminary processes like sitting posture, meditation, spiritual thoughts, manipulation of air passing within the body, and gradual situation in trance facing the absolute person Paramatma. Such mechanical ways of rising to the spiritual platform prescribe some regulative principles for taking bath 3 times daily, fasting as far as possible, sitting and concentrating the mind on spiritual matters, and thus gradually becoming free from Vishaya or material objectives. Material existence means to be absorbed in the material objective, which is simply illusory. House, country, family, society, children, property and business are some of the material coverings of the spirit Atma, and the yoga system helps one to become free from all these illusory thoughts and gradually turn towards the absolute person Paramatma. By material association and education, we learn simply to concentrate on flimsy things. But yoga is the process of forgetting them altogether. Modern so-called yogis and yoga system manifests some magical feats, and ignorant persons are attracted by such false things, or they accept the yoga system as a cheap healing process for diseases of the gross body. But factually, the yoga system is the process of learning to forget what we have acquired throughout the struggle for existence. Dhritarashtra was all along engaged in improving family affairs by raising the standard of living of his sons and by usurping the property of the Pandavas for the sake of his own sons. These are common affairs for a man grossly materialistic and without knowledge of the spiritual force. He does not see how this can drag one from heaven to hell. By the grace of his younger brother Vidur, Dhritarashtra was enlightened and could see his grossly illusory engagements, and by such enlightenment he was able to leave home for spiritual realization. Shri Narad Dev was just foretelling a way of his spiritual progress in a place which was sanctified by the flow of the celestial Ganges. Drinking water only without solid food is also considered fasting. This is necessary for advancement of spiritual knowledge. A foolish man wants to be a cheap yogi without observing the regulative principles. A man who has no control over the tongue at first can hardly become a yogi. Yogi and bhogi are two opposite terms. The bhogi, or the merry man who eats and drinks, cannot be a yogi, for a yogi is never allowed to eat and drink unrestrictedly. We may note with profit how Dhritarashtra began his yoga system by drinking water only, sitting calmly in a place with a spiritual atmosphere, deeply absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord Hari, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.